The air was thick with the scent of jasmine, a fragrance that seemed to hang in the air, almost as if it were a prelude to something significant. The night was calm, serene, and deceptively peaceful. A gentle breeze rustled through the trees, their leaves whispering secrets to the night. The moonlight cast an ethereal glow, illuminating the landscape with a silvery sheen. It was a night that seemed perfect, almost magical. It was a beautiful night in Benedict Canyon, a place known for its picturesque views and tranquil ambience. The canyon, with its winding roads and secluded homes, was a haven for those seeking peace and privacy, but the tranquility was about to be shattered. Ominous clouds began to gather, casting dark shadows over the serene landscape. The air grew heavy with an unspoken tension, as if the night itself sensed the impending doom. Deep in the Hollywood Hills, at 10050 Cielo Drive, actress Sharon Tate and her friends were unaware of the evil that lurked outside. The sprawling ranch house, with its inviting facade, seemed like a sanctuary, but it was about to become a scene of unimaginable horror. The pregnant Tate, wife of director Roman Polanski, was hosting a small gathering. The atmosphere inside was warm and convivial, filled with laughter and conversation. It was a night meant for joy and celebration. Guests included hairstylist Jay Sebring, a close friend of Tate's, and coffee heiress Abigail Folger, whose presence added a touch of elegance to the evening. Abigail was accompanied by her lover, writer Wojciech Frykowski, a man with a creative spirit and a penchant for deep conversations. The group was a mix of close friends and confidants, all gathered to enjoy each other's company. Shortly before midnight, 4 figures crept onto the property. Their movements were stealthy, their intentions sinister. The night, which had seemed so peaceful, was now cloaked in a veil of dread. They were members of a group known as the Family, a cult that had been making headlines for its bizarre and violent activities. The Family was a tight-knit group, bound by their loyalty to their charismatic and dangerous leader. Their leader, Charles Manson, had ordered them to commit a series of murders. Manson, a failed musician with a messianic complex, believed that these acts of violence would ignite a race war he called Helter, Skelter. The Manson family was ready to unleash hell. Armed with knives and a twisted ideology, they approached the house with a chilling determination. The night of terror on Cielo Drive was about to begin, leaving a scar on Hollywood that would never fully heal. The following night, August 10th, the family struck again. This time their victims were supermarket executive Tate-LaBianca and his wife Rosemary. Their home, located on Waverly Drive, was chosen at random. The family entered the LaBianca home late at night. They surprised the sleeping couple. Lino was stabbed multiple times. The word war was carved into his stomach. Rosemary met a similarly gruesome fate. News of the murders spread like wildfire. The brutality of the crime shocked the city. Fear and paranoia gripped Hollywood. No one knew who would be next. The police worked tirelessly to find the killers. The pressure was immense. The eyes of the world were on Los Angeles. The murders became a symbol of the dark side of the 1960s. The peace and love movement was over. Charles Manson, the mastermind behind the murders, had a troubled past. Born in Cincinnati, Ohio, Manson spent much of his youth in and out of prison. He was a career criminal by the age of 30. In the mid-1960s, Manson reinvented himself as a spiritual leader. He attracted a group of followers, mostly young women, who were drawn to his charisma and message of love and peace. But Manson's teachings had a dark side. The family. The Manson family, as they became known, lived on a commune at Spahn Ranch, a former movie set. This ranch, once bustling with the activity of film crews and actors, had become a secluded haven for the group. The isolation of the ranch provided the perfect environment for Manson to exert his influence and control. Manson exerted absolute control over his followers. His charisma and manipulative tactics drew in a diverse group of young people, many of whom were searching for meaning and belonging in the turbulent 1960s. They saw Manson as a father figure, a leader who promised them a new way of life. He used a combination of drugs, sex, and manipulation to keep them in line. The use of hallucinogens like LSD was common, breaking down their psychological defenses and making them more susceptible to his influence. Manson's teachings were a twisted mix of counterculture ideals and his own delusions. Manson believed in a coming race war, which he called Helter, Skelter. He interpreted the Beatles' song of the same name as a prophecy of this apocalyptic conflict. Manson convinced his followers that they were the chosen ones who would survive and emerge as leaders in the aftermath. He saw himself as a prophet who would lead his followers to victory. Manson's delusions of grandeur were fueled by his ability to manipulate and control those around him. He preached about the impending chaos and the role his family would play in the New World Order. The murders, he believed, were a way to ignite the war. Manson directed his followers to commit a series of brutal killings, believing these acts would spark the racial conflict he had prophesied. The infamous Tate-LaBianca murders shocked the nation and revealed the horrifying extent of Manson's control over his followers. The investigation that followed uncovered the dark and twisted world of the Manson family, forever etching their name into the annals of American crime history. The trial of the century. The trial of Charles Manson and his followers began in June 1970. It became a media sensation. The courtroom was packed with reporters and spectators. The prosecution presented a mountain of evidence against Manson and his co-defendants Tex Watson, Susan Atkins, Patricia Krenwinkel, Leslie Van Houten. The defense argued that Manson was insane and that his followers were under his spell. Life behind bars. In 1971, Manson and the three women were found guilty of murder and sentenced to death. Their sentences were later commuted to life in prison. Manson remained a figure of fascination and horror. He gave numerous interviews from prison, always maintaining his innocence and espousing his bizarre philosophies. The legacy of evil. Charles Manson died in prison in 2017 at the age of 83. His followers, however, remain incarcerated. They have all been denied parole multiple times. The Manson family murders continue to haunt the American psyche. They are a reminder of the dark side of human nature and the dangers of cult mentality. A haunting reminder. The homes on Cielo Drive and Waverly Drive, where the murders took place, have long since been demolished. These locations, once filled with life and laughter, now exist only in the memories of those who lived through that time. The physical structures may be gone, but the emotional and psychological scars remain deeply etched in the collective consciousness. But the memory of that horrific August lingers. Every year, people gather to hold candlelight vigils, paying their respects to the victims and reflecting on the senseless violence that shattered so many lives. These gatherings serve as a poignant reminder that while time moves forward, the past is never truly forgotten. The Manson family murders remain one of the most shocking and disturbing crimes in American history. The media frenzy that followed brought the gruesome details into living rooms across the nation, forever changing the way Americans viewed their own safety and the potential for evil within their communities. The Manson family's reign of terror was short. Their trial captivated the nation, revealing the twisted ideology and manipulative tactics of Charles Manson. The courtroom sketches and mugshots of the family members became iconic images, symbolizing the loss of innocence and the dark underbelly of the 1960s counterculture movement. But their crimes cast a long shadow. The fear and paranoia they instilled in the public psyche have had lasting effects, influencing everything from neighborhood watch programs to the portrayal of cults in popular media. The shadow of their actions serves as a grim reminder of how easily society's fabric can be torn apart by a few individuals with malevolent intent. They are a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of even the most idyllic communities. The serene suburban neighborhoods, often seen as safe havens, were forever altered by the realization that evil can reside anywhere. Memorials and flowers left by the roadside stand as silent witnesses to the lives lost and the innocence shattered. urging us to remain vigilant and compassionate in the face of such tragedies.